Hey guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, I want to react and review to a video called People on Bitcoin. So let's see what's that about.
I've bought some before. I lost a lot of money.
You think it'll keep going up over the next few months?
Oh, for sure.
I'm not buying in right now, I'll tell you that.
How come? Do you think it'll ever replace the dollar?
No, absolutely not. Because there's nothing backing it up.
Bitcoin, it's up again. What do you guys think? Are you in? Do you believe in Bitcoin? Do you have FOMO? Let's ask some people.
What do you think about Bitcoin?
But Bitcoin is awesome.
Do you have
It's
any?
amazing. No,
Do you think
Sure
you think you'll buy any Bitcoin in the future?
maybe.
She doesn't know what Bitcoin is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I actually thought that she's into Bitcoin, and then when she said, no, I didn't buy any, she was trying to upsec herself or something. But then that guy came in and he was like, she knows nothing about Bitcoin. So I'm guessing she's just joking with the guy. That's funny.
What do you think of Bitcoin?
Well, I think it's a commodity. It's another tradable asset, just like pork bellies or anything like that. But as far as using a currency, I think it's got a long way to go before it gets there.
You think?
I can already tell like this guy is, he has like this boomer opinion. He's the type of guy who would be like, yeah, I mean, it's a commodity. It's not bad. I mean, it's cool. But yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. You kids, go play with it. Play with your Bitcoins, kind of like how Trump says it. Well, me, I'll just hang out here with the adults, with the big guys. So, but let's see. I mean, I'm not judging.
Think it'll ever replace the dollar?
No, absolutely not.
What?
Because there's nothing backing it up. The only thing that backs up the U.S. dollar is the U.S. government. So they call it fiat currency and all that stuff.
I mean, I don't really understand this point that people try to make, especially like, as I said, I mean, it's a boomer opinion, but the idea that we need our money to be backed by something, the idea that you need to back the money by something, that is only a fiat thing. I mean, when paper money was introduced, obviously paper is not valuable in of itself. To be money, it's valuable for other things, but to be money is not valuable. So we had to back it with gold, obviously. But gold in of itself is valuable. You don't need to back gold with anything else. Same thing with any other form of currency that we've ever used. We've never ever needed to back it with anything else. So same with Bitcoin. The reason gold has value is because it's scarce, it's hard to produce, and we cannot overflow the market with its supply. Same with Bitcoin. We have a limited supply, it's scarce, and it's hard to produce tons of it. So that what makes it kind of valuable, among other features that makes it easy to transact. It makes it easy to use. This idea that you need to back a currency with something is inherently a fiat idea. But yeah, let's continue.
All that stuff, but it's still real because the government can print money. Supposedly there's only 21 million Bitcoins out there, and you're not going to...
Wait. Is this guy saying that the reason fiat money has value is because it's backed by the US government, which is fine, but more so it's because the government prints it? Wow. Do people actually believe this? Do people believe that your currency has value because the government prints a bunch of it? Shouldn't people think of it as the other way around? I mean, it's very intuitive. If an entity, a government or whatever it is, can print your money, then they will likely print a bunch to make it non-valuable. It's not the other way around. It feels like that's what this guy is suggesting. I don't know.
not have anymore. But the price goes up and down so much. If you actually try to use it as currency, you're going to have to fix a price at a fixed time to be able to do a transaction. Then you got a barter transaction, you got IRS issues, you got all kinds.
Again, I mean, this is yet another idea that has been debunked 1,000 times, and that I say it's like a boomer idea. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are young also believe in this, but I don't get where this idea that stability for something needs to be granted. I mean, okay, do you want to fix the price of Bitcoin? Fine, against what? Against the dollar? But the dollar is in of itself not fixed. The prices of everything always fluctuates against the dollar. But even so, and even worse than Bitcoin, the prices of everything become more expensive against the dollar. Whereas when it comes to Bitcoin, everything becomes cheaper. So that's good. I mean, ask anyone out there, do you want your currency to lose value or to gain value against everything else? Most likely they will say, yeah, I mean, I want to be able to afford more things. I want my savings to be able to buy me more things with time, not less. And so I don't get how where does this idea come from? Because everything in the market is basically always fluctuating, even the US dollar. Now, okay, I can concede to the idea that Bitcoin is highly volatile against the dollar, and thus it's hard to be used as a unit of account. But as it becomes more widely adopted and used with people, and as its market becomes bigger, the volatility will be reduced, as we see, and as it has been the case for the last 15 years. Volatility has been reduced in Bitcoin. So yes, maybe right now it's hard to be used as money, but the idea that it must be fixed in value to be used as money is just nonsensical.
You got all kinds of stuff to have to fill that out. But no, it'll never replace the US dollar.
So treat it like gold.
Treat it exactly like gold.
And you're never going to own any Bitcoin?
Nope. I own some stock that messes in Bitcoin because I just wanted to have a little touch to it, but no, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin, not for 90-something thousand, and it may be a stupid decision because it may be $1 million in 2 years. I have no idea.
I mean, that's really interesting for you to believe in Bitcoin and to believe that Bitcoin can go to $1 million and to even to go as far as to invest in Bitcoin related companies, but still not own any Bitcoin. That's weird. I mean, I don't know why.
What's your number one stock pick if you could choose one?
Cullen Frost Bank shares in San Antonio.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know very much about it other than the price is through the roof.
Right.
And years ago, I do remember one of the prognosticators of the stock market said, "You're a real dummy if you buy the thing." Jim something or another.
Yeah. Kramer.
Kramer, that's right. The guy, yeah. I remember.
I mean, it's really funny to me that people use Jim Cramer as their financial advisor. And it's even more funny to me that you choose what to invest in based on what someone on the television tells you to do. But even more so, Jim Cramer. I mean, if anything, and if history tells us anything, you should do exactly the opposite of what Jim Cramer tells you to do. But to each his own, I guess.
Remember that.
Right.
And sometimes I lament that I didn't buy some. And then sometimes I say, boy, I'm glad I didn't buy some.
Do you think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
Personally, I hope not. I really believe that the American dollar and cash is king. I really think that we as a nation should stay away from digital currencies completely.
What do you guys think of Bitcoin?
That's also an interesting perspective. I mean, some people really believe that. I agree with cash. I mean, we should always use cash if it's possible and not go completely digital when it comes to fiat currency. Because when your money is always in the bank and it's just bank transactions going back and forth, it becomes so much easier to restrict people on what they can buy and what they can sell and how they can spend their money and everything like that. But also people need to understand that yes, Bitcoin is digital, but it also works the same way cash does. Because if we agree to the idea that you don't need a third party to transact with cash, even though you do in a certain extent, because your money, which is like the $1 or the $100 bill, this $100 bill only has value because you can take it to your bank and they can actually deposit it for you and then use that money to buy a house and to send it abroad and whatnot. So your cash is actually backed by the ability to be deposited at the bank. But when it comes to Bitcoin, this is also something that doesn't require a third party, even more than cash. So people need to understand that Bitcoin is cash. So it's moving away from third parties and banks to a certain extent when you're using it in a self-custody manner back to cash. So we're going back to actually owning the underlying asset and not owning a liability with a bank or someone else. So it is essentially a bank. Some people say that there's nothing worse than paying taxes on your Bitcoin gains or crypto gains. Well, for me, there is one thing, and that is having to pay a fine on your taxes because you made a mistake while reporting them. So this is where coin tracking comes into play. You can use coin tracking for reporting your Bitcoin and crypto transactions by importing your transactions from your exchange or from your wallet. Coin tracking supports almost any exchange and almost any wallet in the industry. You can go and check it out. And right now you can get a 10% discount by using my referral link down in the description of this video. You can get a 10% discount. So do it correctly and do it with coin tracking. Back to the video.
I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Do you know anyone that's into it?
No.
No.
All right, cool.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who know nothing about it and they probably heard about it, but they never got interested in it, and that's completely fine. Some people just are not into this stuff, and that's great. To each their own hobbies and their own professions.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't have an opinion. I know they're like virtual currencies. They're connected to prime numbers. They're very hard to mine. That's all I know. And you need a lot of computational power to find new Bitcoins.
Yeah, they're kind of bad for the environment, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because you need a lot of power and electricity for that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the argument that I haven't seen a lot of people make in quite some time. But I'm not going to really argue about the environment and all of that. But it's really odd to me where this idea that using power and electricity is bad for the environment, where does this idea come from? It probably is to a certain degree, but I mean, what can you do without power and electricity? We cannot really survive without that. So it's really odd to me that, I mean, if you cannot survive, then what does the environment serve you really?
Yeah, so they're bad for the environment as a consequence.
Do you think you'll ever buy Bitcoin in the future?
I might consider that, but not in the near future, I would say.
Is that marijuana?
Maybe. No, it's a cigarette. It's legal. It's just Italian tobacco.
Okay. You're from Italy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you think of Bitcoin?
I think it's cool. I wish I knew more about it. I don't know too much about it.
All right, so you haven't bought any yet?
I've bought some before, and I lost a lot of money.
Really?
To me, I lost like 50 or $100.
Okay.
And I was like, oh shit. So I just sold it. I gave up pretty quickly.
What made you buy it in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, this guy and plenty of other people have the same situation or the same experience where they get excited about Bitcoin or crypto in general, and they put their money in it right at the top, and then it just goes down because they heard about it when by the end of the bull market, when all the FOMO and all the excitement was at its peak. So they lose money. And really, there's two types of people who experience this. There's one type like this guy who put money into Bitcoin at the top, and it just lost its value, and they just gave up and didn't really bother with it too much, maybe for personal reasons, or they're just not interested in it. And there's the other side where I'm one of these guys. Back in 2017, I put money in Bitcoin at the top, but I kept at it. I just got more interested in it, even though I lost the money I initially invested. But I learned about it, and I kept investing more money. But unfortunately, a lot of people have a different experience, which is more likely to be what this guy experienced. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but what can you do?
All my friends were getting into it kind of, and I thought I would try to follow suit, but
yeah,
it didn't work out too well for me.
Did you sell it because it was going down, or just because you need the money?
Kind of a little bit of both. I mean, it was going down, and I was like, I might as well just cut my losses and try to get some of my money back, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
That'd be pretty cool. I think so.
Evan, what do you think about Bitcoin?
That's nice. I think at least he believes that it will replace the dollar. Maybe it will, maybe it will not. So that's nice.
Coin.
I've heard it's on the come up recently. It's not something I've ever bought, but crypto seems very interesting to me.
All right, so you might buy it in the future?
Oh yeah. Once I got more money.
Do you think it might replace the dollar in the future?
I can see it happening.
So how come you haven't bought any thus far?
I'm too young. I'm 20 and I'm not financially independent enough. But you know, maybe a few years down the road, you know.
Yeah, I mean, young people should consider investing as soon as possible, because the sooner they do so, the more they will have when they actually grow up and need the money to buy important things such as a house or a car or get married or anything like that. Because, I mean, the earlier you do it, the better and the more your gains will be when you actually grow up. But yeah, I mean, I understand people, this guy is in his 20s or early, he's like 20 years old, and maybe he's in college. I mean, he doesn't have a stable job and he's not financially independent. Yeah, I mean, even maybe if he got like a part-time job, it's probably not going to pay him enough to have savings and invest that in Bitcoin. Yeah, but I mean, if you have the chance and you can actually get a good paying job in your 20s, in your early 20s, maybe you should do that and start as early as possible.
Start investing in crypto.
You think it'll keep going up over the next few months?
Oh, for sure.
Say what?
Love to see it.
You want to be in our video real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, Bitcoin, you know, it's made a big move here recently.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
You guys have any
well.
FOMO about it?
FOMO?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not buying in right now, I'll tell you that.
How come?
Well,
Wait, how can you have FOMO and not wanting to buy as well? Doesn't make sense.
well, you know, there's a lot of reasons.
100K, one Bitcoin, one house. I mean, it's kind of equivalent.
Yeah, in Detroit, you can buy a house for $100,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also an interesting perspective. To get one Bitcoin is pretty hard for most people right now. Majority of people, I would say like over 90% of the people right now cannot get their hands on a full coin. Just like that, maybe with time they can, but just like that, it's hard. And yeah, as he said, like in many places in the world, for $100,000, you can actually buy a house. So yeah, but it's a bit odd to me. I think they probably believe that you can only buy a full coin rather than just a fraction of a Bitcoin. Maybe that's why they believe they cannot really buy any Bitcoin. I don't know.
Do you think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
I mean, don't quote me on it, but some sort of cryptocurrency probably will turn over the world. Maybe Ripple, XRP, shout out.
Oh, yeah, now I get it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks like he's an XRP holder. And yeah, it makes sense. I mean, he probably thinks that, yeah, let me buy XRP, which is just for $1 or $2. I don't know how much it is right now. And I can buy like 1,000 XRP, whereas Bitcoin is like $100,000. Then, yeah, I cannot really benefit from that. I cannot really buy it. I cannot get 1,000 coins. So yeah, let me just get the cheapest shitcoin possible. And it's easier to buy from. I don't know. I mean, I really don't understand why people have this mentality. I think it's probably because they're accustomed to the stock market, where if you want to buy a share of Apple stock, you have to buy a whole stock, a whole share. Whereas when it comes to Bitcoin, you can actually buy a fraction of a coin. You don't have to actually buy a whole coin. Most people out there will not own a whole coin. So yeah, I mean, that's really interesting, and it's interesting what it does, the number bias, what that does to human psychology when it comes to investing.
Oh, do you own those?
A little bit.
Oh.
Let's think about this, okay?
ADA, Cardano, hey.
The black market's worth billions of dollars.
Okay.
Bitcoin's untrackable.
Yeah.
Makes sense to own Bitcoin.
Right. So you own some?
No.
Okay, why not?
Didn't buy in early enough.
So you might buy some when it goes down?
No.
No.
No, I buy solid assets.
Man.
Okay.
Wait. So there's a lot of things to unpack here. The guy said that Bitcoin is untrackable, but it is. So that's not its only use case. I mean, some people think that the only reason people buy Bitcoin is because they can use it on the dark web or whatever, but that's not really the reality. And Bitcoin can be untrackable, but it's kind of, you have to take a lot of steps to make it as such. So it's not completely untrackable, and it's not a privacy coin, so to speak. And then the other guy was like, I want to buy hard assets. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin even if it goes down, which is fine. But he just said he owns XRP. All right, whatever.
Okay.
That's fair.
What do you think of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Oh, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
Do you have any?
No, I don't. I haven't been in a financial situation to be able to do that.
Right.
Yet.
Do you when you get money, are you going to buy some Bitcoin?
I might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it'll replace the dollar?
Maybe.
What's wrong with Bitcoin?
It's cryptocurrency. It's great, but I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. It's because I'm a no coiner. You know, I like physical assets, things I can touch.
Hell yeah, no,
Real estate.
these are the opinions we want.
Yeah.
Well, how come? What's wrong with crypto?
There's several different markets to invest in. Some people love crypto, that's fine. Just like some people love starting a business, some people love owning property. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. If you want crypto, that's fine. I'm not against it. I think it's gonna take over. It's not going anywhere. There's a lot of fake coins, you know.
Okay, I mean, this guy, I mean, I completely respect his opinion. He's just saying that there's plenty of things you can invest in, and that's completely fair. And he's like, I'm just gonna stay in my lane, and I'm gonna invest in whatever he invests in. Maybe he doesn't have the time, or he's not completely into Bitcoin and know what it is, which is fine. So he's just gonna stay in his lane, you know, just invest in things that he understands. Completely fine, completely respect his opinion. But at the same time, I would tell him, you don't have to completely be into Bitcoin, and you don't have to completely understand everything about Bitcoin to invest in it. You just need to understand that it's here to stay, and just the main features and why people are putting money into it. And you're just good to go. You don't have to read like 10 books about it and watch 10,000 hours of YouTubes about it. You just need to understand the basics. But again, to each his own, and completely respect his opinion.
Like there's gonna be the Taylor Swift coin, and then the, you know, Johnny Walker coin. So it's just for me, you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I completely respect, and this is probably one of the biggest hurdles for people who want to get into Bitcoin, is the fact that there's so much shitcoin and so much scams in the space that it puts people off, basically, because you always hear about people who made so much money on this shitcoin, but in real life, if you talk about people who actually got into crypto and shitcoins and whatnot, if you talk with them about that, they will tell you they lost money, just like as we saw here. A couple of guys who said that most people will lose money in shitcoins and they will be scammed. So for him to think this way, I completely understand it. But then again, maybe this is why it's important to make videos about Bitcoin and try to make it completely focused on Bitcoin rather than the whole shitcoin industry. Just because we want people to be able to be exposed to this type of content rather than the dog coins and the cat coins and the Taylor Swift coins. So again, I respect his opinion for that.
Yeah, I agree. Those are kind of scammy, but you don't feel like Bitcoin will ever replace the dollar?
Eventually, yeah. I think yeah, for sure. Why not? Why? Because digital currency, that making cash is just a problem, right? The paper, the process.
So why don't you buy some Bitcoin? Aren't you scared of missing out?
Yeah, I mean, this guy opinion is basically opposite to the second guy we saw. He's saying that cash is problematic. Again, I mean, maybe in our today's world and age, we need digital money to be able to transact easily. So what's great about Bitcoin is that it's basically just a best of both worlds. Bitcoin is cash, so you don't have to rely on a third party. You don't have to rely or hold the liability of someone else. So, but at the same time, it's digital. Of course, if you're using it the correct way, in a self-custody wallet, then that's great. That's how you can use Bitcoin as cash and still have it digitally.
A little bit. Because I got my own thing going, brother. Yeah, my kids are going to hate me, but they'll love me for the other work I do.
Cool.
And you're like, oh, well, Dad bought a bunch of apartments. We don't have much Bitcoin, but we got this going on. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so that was pretty interesting. It's nice to see people, like random people, share their perspective on Bitcoin outside of our Bitcoin echo chamber. So yeah, I mean, that's great. Some opinions are basically expected, especially from certain kinds of people. And it's also understandable to a certain extent. And yeah, it's just like kind of sobering to see how people are not completely into Bitcoin right now. It's not well commonly used still, even in a place like the United States, where it's considered one of the countries that is it's adopting Bitcoin quite well. It's better than countries in Europe or Asia or general countries out there. The US is pretty hospitable towards Bitcoin. The people over there are pretty hospitable towards it. But still, in a place like the United States, if you just take a bunch of random people and ask them about Bitcoin, you will not find many with strong opinions or people who are supporting it or anything like that. So thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.